This is Geometry 2, Semester 2, Final Exam Review, starting at number 19. So go through. It says Steve listed the steps he took when constructing a circumscribe, so that means a circle around the outside, circumscribed circle of triangle ABC. So this is a triangle with a circle going around the outside. It says draw perpendicular bisector, so basically, so here is a triangle. Let's call it A, B, C. Draw a perpendicular bisector of AB. So he's going to, since this is a multiple choice exam, I'm just going to go through the steps and try and, see what we're missing here. So we're perpendicular something over here, right here. Number 2, something. Label point of intersection of the perpendicular bisector R. So right here, so it means for number 2, that's a piece that I'm missing. So in between draw perpendicular bisector of AB, label the point of intersection of the perpendicular bisector R. So something happened between 1 and 2 here. So we're trying to fill in what it has. It says repeat step 1 for BC or AC. So for BC or AC, so when we actually do, so this one will be draw medians for each of the 2 triangles. Nope. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this one again. So if we do this one again, so it's going to be perpendicular bisector here. So where these 2 actually intersect is going to be my point that I stab my compass and I draw my circle around, something like this. So it would look better if I actually had a real triangle on here, but since I don't, too bad. All right, multiple choice anyway. So we're going to do this again for that. Number 20, find the possible solutions. So these are going to be co-functions. So since they're co-functions, I'm going to go x plus 4 plus 2x plus 5, and together, since that and that together are co-functions, they together have to add up to 90. So it's going to be 3x plus 9 equals 90. So 3x equals 81 divided by 3. X is, let me see, that's going to be 27. Yeah, 27. So x is 27. So right here, and you could actually check to see if it actually does work, because you could put it back in. So this one and this one together will add up to 90. All right, so for 21, A and B are complementary angles, so that means that both these together have to add up to 90. As shown right here, right angle, find the sine of A, cosine of B. So now here's A, so sine, so let's see, if we write out our thing, we have some old hippie caught another hippie tripping on acid. So sine is going to be opposite over hypotenuse. So from A, so sine A, opposite there is going to be 75 over hypotenuse, which is 85 right here. And now cosine of B, so now we're looking at it from B. So cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so it's going to be 75 over 85. And then describe how they're related. So now these are going to be related because this one and this one are supposed to be complementary of each other, so together they have to add up to 90. But now since we're referring to this angle here in terms of this and this, since this is opposite of here and the hypotenuse always stays the same. Now from B, this one is going to be adjacent, so this is next to B, and this one is always the hypotenuse. So that's going to be the comparison. That's why we end up having these two are going to be the same values here. Now 22, find sine, cosine, and tangent of angle B. So angle B is right here, so sine. So if you actually do this correctly, so you don't actually have to have everything in this little triangle here, But you can have, since the whole thing is one big right triangle, I'm only going to use that. So they're just trying to confuse you. So this is the only thing I'm dealing with, just this one right here. So that's the only triangle I'm dealing with. So we need to find AB. So now, since it's the right triangle, I'm going to use Pythagorean theorem. So it's going to be square root of 14 squared plus whatever this is, let's call it x squared, equals my hypotenuse, which is 7 squared. I'm going to do some creative math here where I get x squared is equal to 7 squared minus square root of 14 squared, because I'm subtracting it and putting it to the other side, so I have x by itself. And then right here, I could square root, so x equals square root of 7 squared minus square root of 14 squared. Then I could actually do it on my calculator. So let's see. All right, hopefully you can see this. All right, so square root of 7 squared minus square root of 14 squared. So it should look something like that. So yes, you have a radical and a radical, but calculator does it for you. We get 5.9. So x is about 5.9. So now we're going to find sine, cosine, and tangent. So sine is, again, some old hippie. So sine B is opposite, which is going to be from here to here, square root of 14 over hypotenuse, which is 7. Cosine of B, and that is adjacent over hypotenuse. That's my caught another hippie. So adjacent would be this side right here, which is 5.9 over my hypotenuse, which is 7. And tangent of B is opposite over adjacent, so it's going to be square root of 14 over 5.9. Okay, number 23A. So what is the density of carbon dioxide gas if this many grams occupies a volume? So density is actually pretty easy. So it's actually density. Here, let me just abbreviate. Density is equal to mass divided by volume. All right, so let's see. Density equals mass. My mass is how much it weighs, so 0.196 divided by volume, which is 100 milliliters. So it's going to be 0.196 divided by 100. It's going to be, density is equal to 0.00196, and it's going to be grams over milliliters. All right, an unknown substance, unknown substance on the planet X has a density of 10 grams per milliliter, occupies a volume of this. What is the mass? So we know that D is equal to M divided by V. Now let's go ahead and multiply both sides by V. They'll cancel over here. So I get dV is equal to my mass. So now, since it's asking for mass, all I have to do is plug in here. So that's going to be my density, which is 10, times my volume, which is 80. So it's going to be 800. Now, so this says grams per milliliters. So that means that my mass has to be in grams. So it's going to be 800 grams because it says it right there. All right, 24. Mr. Medrano is standing 45 feet from a tree with a 45 feet with a tree with a 58-degree angle of elevation. So here's my tree. Yay, tree. 45 feet. So to the nearest foot. How tall is the tree? So now this one right here, it's going from the ground unless it actually specifically says, you know, from the height of whatever. So you're just going from right here. So it's 58. That's an 8. 58 degrees. And this is 45 feet. So this is my x. So from this side's the opposite, and this side's adjacent. So opposite adjacent is going to be tangent of 58 is equal to x over 45. Multiply both sides by 45. So I get 45 times tangent of 58 is equal to x. Let me put that in my calculator. 10.
Are you talking to yourself or are you talking to Jessica?
Alright, sorry, I kind of got interrupted here, so let me try this again. So it's going to be 45 tangent of 58 right here, and I come up with the tree is going to be 72.0, and we're dealing in feet. There we go. Alright, so let's take a look at 25. Now this one, it specifically talks about how high her eye level is. So that means this is going to be 5 feet from here. So we're trying to find the height of the flagpole. So that means that I'm going to have an X here. So I'm only going to talk about this triangle. So let me see if I got another one. So this triangle here, when I do my trig, and then when I'm done, since I'm 5 feet off the ground, I'm going to add 5 to this. So this is opposite, and I have this side right here, so that's adjacent, so that's tangent again of 27 is equal to opposite, which is x over 17, multiplied by 17. So 17 tangent 27 is x. So we get 8.7 plus my 5 that I'm off the ground. So I get a total of 13.7 feet. Alright, so let's go on to this one. Number 26A says find the measure of angles D and F. So let's start with, I'm going to start from F. So from F, this side's opposite and that one's adjacent, so that's tangent of F, because I don't know that angle, is equal to 8.7 over 11.2. Now, whenever I'm trying to find the angle, I do the inverse. So I don't know if you remember this. F equals inverse tan of 8.7 over 11.2. So I'm a calculator. So second tan 8.7 divided by 11.2. It's going to be right here. My angle is going to be 37.8 degrees. Now, we know that F and D together have to add up to 180. Or I'm sorry, 90, because the whole triangle will add up to 180. This one's already 90. So I know these two together have to just be 90, because that's already 90. So they're complementary. So all I need to do is go 90 minus 37.8. And I get that D, so angle D, let me mark my angles, is about 52.2 degrees. Alright, so let's take a look at B. It said Joe plans to slide down 55-foot slide. So my slide itself is going to be 55 feet, so that's important. So let me move this up so I could do some work on here, right here. Alright, so the slide itself, so he's going down, this is 55 feet. The top of the slide is 30 feet above the ground. Okay, what is the angle of depression? So right here, so angle of depression means top down. So it's if you're depressed, you're feeling down. So it's actually top down is right here. But if you remember, we know that angle of depression and angle of elevation are always the same. So it would be the same as what I had right here. So I have my triangle closed in here already. I could make another triangle going this way for this, but it's going to give me the same thing. So from this angle right here, this side would be the opposite, and this side here is hypotenuse. So opposite and hypotenuse is going to be sine of whatever the angle is, I'm going to call it theta, is equal to 30 over 55. So theta is equal to inverse sine of 30 over 55. So and we get 33.1. That 5 is going to make that 0 round up. The angle is going to be 33.1 degrees. Okay, so now right here, find the area of the sector. Now, this one right here, a lot of people have trouble with this part. Now, since this is a central angle, the arc is always the same as the central angle. So that means that this one's going to be 60 degrees also. My formula for the area is going to be theta divided by 360 pi r squared. So it's going to be 60 over 360 pi. My radius is going to be 10 squared. So 60 divided by 360 pi, and my radius was 10 squared. So my area is going to be about 52.4. My units are in inches, and area is always square. What is the area of the shaded sector given the circle Q has a diameter of 10? So if it has a diameter of 10, that means that the radius has to be 5. Okay, I want the shaded, so the whole circle has to add up to 360. So I'm going to go 360 minus 135, and that's going to give me the sector of my shaded part. I get 225 is my theta, so that's going to be my area angle over 360 pi. My radius is going to be 5 squared. So let's see, I have 225 divided by 360 pi 5 squared is going to give me area of about 49.1, and it doesn't say units, so I'm going to say units squared. Alright, for 28, it says, what are the sine, cosine, and tangent ratios of P in the given triangle? So, sine, let me write it out again. So, some old hippie caught another hippie tripping on acid. So, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So, opposite is here. So, sine P is 4 over 5. Cosine P, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so adjacent is going to be 3, hypotenuse is 5, and tangent of P, so tangent is opposite over adjacent, so opposite is 4 over 3. Alright, number 29, the following formula state the variables that the surface area is dependent on. Now, we don't do surface area, so go ahead and skip that one. I'm sorry it's on the review, but go ahead and skip that. Now, let's take a look at this one. State the shape that each item best identifies with. So, kitchen cabinets. So that's a rectangular prism. Basketball. S-P-H-E-R-E. Soda can, cylinder. And King Tut's tomb, that's also going to be a prism. So I don't know if it's the tomb or what, because King Tut's tomb, it was actually just a hole in the ground. And I don't know if like whoever decided to write this question, if they were talking about, the Pyramid of Giza, then we would actually say it's a pyramid. But, anyway, King Tut's tomb, to be historically accurate, is a prism. And it should be a rectangular. E-C-T-G. Okay, so rectangular prism. Its tomb is a prism, but like I said, I think they were trying to get you to say pyramid, but it's not. So you gotta talk about, what shape is in Giza that's famous or something. All right, so I am wrapping a present for my nephew and do not have very much wrapping paper. If I want to cover the present completely, use little paper as possible, no overlapping edges. How much paper would I need? Now, if it's paper going around the outside, that refers to surface area. Do we do surface area? Say no. All right, good. Now, let's take a look. Now, Word documents are available to print in many fashions. For example, I can print one page on a 8x11 page and can print 2 pages on an 8x11 page, or the original size of the document is 8x11 page. And if I print 2 pages on a page and the width is 4, what would the length be? So let's take a look. So for this, now it goes and tries to, confuse you on this. 2 pages on an 8x11. So 2 pages, 8x11. Original document is 8x11, and I print on a page. Okay, then the width is 4. So the original is 8x11. Okay, that would barely fit on the original. If I print 2 on a page, then the width is 4. So that means it's going to be half of this one right here, and then the length goes along with this one right here. So I went from 8 to 4, and then the 11. So if you notice, there is a scale factor here. So that starts off with 8, and then I end up with 4. So my original is 4, and I end up like this. So my scale factor is 1/2. So now let's start off with what I have. So it's an unknown over 11, and I could set that up as a cross products. So right here I get 11 equals 2x divided by 2. X equals 5.5 inches. Okay, I know it is in inches, but maybe I didn't put it on here. Okay, so 5.5 inches. John has a garden that needs to be fenced. His dog keeps eating his tomatoes. He has 30 yards of fencing and wants to make a garden as big as possible. What shape would you make the largest area for your garden? Show your work and how you decided. Now, we've done plenty of these problems. You should have done like 30 of these problems where you're maximizing area. So every time we maximize area, it's going to be a circle. So right here, we've done this so many times. So I could actually do the work for this. So it would be right here. So now each side, since it's perimeter, it would take this and divide by 4. So 30 divided by 4. It's going to be 7.5 for each side. So right here, my area is 7.5 times 7.5. So 7.5 times 7.5, which I get 56.25. Okay, now if I do it as a circle, I have to work it backwards. So I'm going to do some math first before I actually do that. So my circumference of a circle is equal to pi times, 2 pi times my radius, or pi times diameter. But I want to figure out my radius first. So basically what I need to do is actually, I want to get r by itself. Divide both sides by 2 pi, those go away. So r is equal to whatever my circumference is divided by 2 pi. So I got my circumference, which was 30, divided by, I'm going to put this in parentheses, otherwise it doesn't come out right, 2 pi. And I get let's say it's about 4.8. So it's about 4.8. So now let's do my area, pi r squared. So it's going to be pi, my radius is going to be 4.8 close squared, and my area here is going to be 72.4, and so now this is actually a lot more than this, so it's always going to be a circle. And I'm showing my work for it. Okay, right here, 34. Use the given vertices to graph the quadrilateral, find its area, round to the nearest tenth as needed. So I have a triangle here, so -3, -2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I have B at -2, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. And right here, this is 3, -4. 1, 2, 3. Alright, sorry. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this one right here is just again going to be a, so here, let me close it in first. So this one it's in irregular shape, but I'm going to make it regular. So I could do a couple things. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to box in the outside. So I'm going to use box method. That's going to be the quickest, because I don't want to have this video last forever. Now, I'm only going to have 3 boxes that I have to subtract here. So my box is going to be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times height 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is 64 units. Now I subtract my triangle, so 1, 2, and 3. So triangle 1 is going to be 1/2 my base, which is 2, my height, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which I get 8. Triangle 2 is going to be, my base is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times the height, which is 2. My area is 6. Triangle 3, my height base is 1, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Their area is 3. So it's going to be 64 minus 8 minus 6 minus 3. So 64 minus 8 minus 6 minus 3. So 47 units square.